A static control problem is reported. The product is checked, the process is adjusted, and the same symptom returns. At that point, repeating the same investigation may not add new evidence. The next question is whether the investigation boundary is wide enough. This does not mean the flaw is automatically the cause. It means product, process, people, equipment, environment, flooring, installation, and the ground path should be examined as connected variables. A system can fail at an interface even when its individual components appear acceptable in isolation. First, define the failure signature. Record where the event occurs when it appears, who or what is moving, which footwear, wheels, casters, or equipment are involved, and the operating conditions at that time. A symptom tied to one zone, one footwear type, one caster type, or one operating period gives a different lead from a facility-wide pattern. Without that distinction, corrective action becomes guesswork. Next, map the intended static control path. When a footwear and flooring system is used to ground personnel, evaluate the complete body-to-ground path: person, footwear, footwear floor contact, installed flooring, the floor grounding connection, and the defined ESD ground. For mobile equipment, evaluate a separate object-to-ground path: bonding within the object, wheel or caster resistance, wheel floor contact, the installed flooring and its grounding path. Include seams, conductive adhesive, grounding strips or foil and joints only where they are part of the documented installation design. The floor cannot dissipate charge from a person or object through that path, unless effective electrical contact and continuity exist at every required interface. An acceptable component result alone does not establish system performance. The technical team should separate charge generation from charge dissipation. Floor point-to-point resistance characterizes the path between two floor locations. Installed floor resistance to ground characterizes the path from a floor electrode to the defined ground. ANSI ESD STM 97.1 measures resistance from a person through the selected footwear and flooring system to ground. ANSI ESD STM 97.2 measures body voltage accumulation during a defined walking test and reflects the net balance of charge generation and dissipation. These are distinct measurands. One result does not establish another. Report the method and all applicable method-specific details. State the product or installed floor status, location, ground reference, electrode and test voltage where applicable. Also record the footwear and person or caster combination, walking protocol, surface condition, conditioning, temperature, relative humidity and acceptance criterion where applicable. The purchasing team should ask what was actually specified and bought. Was approval based only on a catalog resistance range or on identified product evidence, compatible installation materials, grounding, and an acceptance plan? If system interfaces were never written into the purchase and installation scope, responsibility may remain fragmented after a problem appears. The financial question is not simply whether investigation or corrective work costs money. It is whether repeated scrap, downtime, retesting, delayed delivery, and management attention cost more when the mechanism remains unresolved. The comparison should use documented recurrence and credible corrective options, not a promised saving. For the owner or management team, the central issue is accountability across interfaces. who owns the failure definition, the measurement plan, the installation records, the corrective action, and the retest. A cross-functional problem becomes harder to solve when each group holds only one fragment of the evidence. The flaw should enter the investigation neither as an assumption nor as an exclusion. Compare representative zones, approved footwear or caster combinations, relevant operating conditions, and the installed path to ground. Where a variable changes, document the change, repeat the defined measurement, and see whether the failure pattern changes with it. A disciplined review closes the loop in 5 steps. Define the failure, map the interfaces, measure under stated conditions, correct the supported cause, and retest the same system. If the symptom persists, the evidence should guide the next boundary expansion rather than restart the same debate. The lesson is not to blame the environment whenever a product or process problem remains unresolved. It is to examine the complete mechanism before certainty hardens around one cause. Once flooring is evaluated as part of the installed system, its maintenance claims must be interpreted separately from its electrical mechanism. That is the subject of Judy Matrix Notes 005. See beyond.